Good afternoon, guys. If you notice that Ros has got a bit of a smile on her face, it's because she won our Melbourne Cup sweepstakes. So congratulations, Ros. She's been at the back doing the currency fair transfer back to Australia to her mum so she can put some more bets on. Anyway, Interact Solutions are a focused mobile banking, mobile payments, and mobile authentication company. We've been in business for about 10 years. But the area that we've focused and been different on the rest of the industry is we've come at the problem mainly from a network operator's perspective. So we're not able to do over-the-top plays. We've actually got to get deep linked with our network operators. And over the last 10 years, we've built up considerable relationships within the Asian region. What I want to talk about today is one specific part of our portfolio, which involves what we feel is a major problem within the industry at the moment. You've been talking today about people wanting to transact both on the mobile telephone and on the internet securely. Everyone aware of the card not present problem out there. There's no physical identity of what you're actually doing on the internet, or in that case, in a what's called a MOTO environment. What that means, in addition, is that the risk is borne by the merchant. The authentication is actually done by the acquiring infrastructure. It is not done by the issuing bank. Obviously, there's a lot of smart people around the world who have been addressing this problem, and Visa Card actually came up with a solution which they named 3D Secure, which MasterCard then adopted, which is really what's known as 3D, three-domain authentication. And that's been implemented around the world over the last couple of years under two models. And the second factor component of 3D authentication is really a secret key or something that you've given to your issuing bank. In Australia, this secret key is actually a password. Those of you who are from Singapore, and I know there are a lot of you in the audience are, it actually has been your mobile telephone number. So now if you want to transact on the internet, you will actually get what's called a one-time password to your phone that you have to enter into the PC. All very well, works quite well, unless you're roaming, or if you're in a market where the SMS infrastructure isn't particularly powerful. However, we're not here to discuss that today. What we want to talk about is how do you use that solution on the mobile phone. So Ros is actually now going to show you a solution. This is just a mock-up of a checkout screen. What we're entering here is a credit card number, which is linked back at the issuing bank to a mobile telephone number. So what will happen from this perspective, it will actually send me an SMS to my mobile telephone to authenticate the transaction with an OTP. Obviously, it's a store and store system, so there's a lot of delays. I hope there aren't going to be complete delays, or we'll move on to our demo. But anyway, what will happen is that you'll eventually receive the SMS. The problem is, however, that the SMS goes into your inbox. It doesn't actually come up on the screen. Secondly, the OTP component of the verified by Visa system requires you, so sorry, you can just see it's popped up at the top there. Unfortunately, you can't read it, and now it's disappeared, so now I've got to go hunting for it. Obviously, within an iPhone environment, you can swap and change apps, but it's very difficult in a lot of the other smartphones, particularly if they're older. Okay? The second component of this is like, well, if the existing infrastructure of what three-domain authentication requires, which is a pop-up menu or an iframe, is not supported in the web browser, it doesn't matter if I get the OTP. I actually can't physically execute in the mobile phone. So I've got a problem. And if we're saying that over 50% of internet commerce has actually come over the mobile phone, we don't have a solution. So what I'd like to talk about today is a solution that we've been working with the scheme companies with and some of the banks, is actually to provide an alternative mechanism to do this. So Ros, if you'd like to just repeat, this is exactly the same. The difference is that at the back end, the ACS is using our system rather than just sending a message it out. Okay? And what you will receive now is you'll receive a pop-up menu effectively onto the screen, which is overlaid on top. So just raise a sec. So what you get directly over the screen, so you've got a simple thing. It tells you who the vendor is, how much the transaction is for, and you just respond yes or no. Well, so just if you respond yes, it will then actually authenticate. Why is that different than OTP? Well, I've proven the same thing, that I physically got the phone with me, which is what the second factor authentication is. So you can see it's a very simple interface. Just dismiss that. And you then go back into the web browser checkout screen. There's no pop-up required. So this is an end-to-end solution that works very seamlessly and very simply for these solutions. The other important part of this is you can also use this in MOTO environment. Those of you in the Asian environment will realize, a significant portion of card not present transactions are actually over an IVR or via a call center. There is no way to authenticate those transactions at the moment. So we're looking at deploying this for the mobile space. the Moto space, but also for long tail physical distribution systems where EMV infrastructure is not in place. So you can imagine you're going in, you put your card into the acquiring device, it's not EMV authenticated, so what you then have to do is do one of these in parallel back to your mobile phone. So you've got effectively a full second factor authentication system in your hand altogether. Okay? Yeah, I have time to show you the second part of the demo. What we then decided we would start to look at, we're all very big fans of PayPal. One of the things that frustrates me, particularly when I'm on sites like this, I'm fed up of having to enter all my credit card information. I'm fed up of entering my date of birth, my address, my mother's maiden name, whatever else they ask for me. So I'm a big fan of PayPal where it can be used. PayPal hasn't taken off in Asia. The main reason being is that PayPal is carried along by eBay. Where there's no eBay, there's no PayPal, fact. So there are a number of parties out there trying to put together a PayPal-type system, and I would commend Visa for what I think they've done, which is very interesting with their V.me initiative, which is really emulating the PayPal solution, but trying to bring it back down to a very basic scenario. So what you can do if you've got this secure authentication function, you can start to use the mobile phone number as your identity. So instead of an internet or an email address and a password, what you can now implement is the possibility of a mobile phone number being your identifier. So you'll get into the pay screen, if you can just process that, Rod. So now instead of just bringing back a menu challenge, which quite frankly would be useless because obviously I've got the phone, what I now have to do is respond with my PIN. So if you just want to reply to that. If the PIN doesn't match what I've registered with either the issuing bank or if this is a bank payment system, it doesn't recognize what's in, it will falter. All right? If it's the correct PIN, which is what it was now, you actually get a pass. All right? So both of these solutions, we believe, are interesting, particularly in the basis of mobile payments. There is no solution out there that works. We're launching this in the Indonesian market in December with one of the major banks, and we're hoping to put this out across Asia very, very quickly after that, once we've got the sponsorship of both the scheme credit cards. And I think we're just out of time. Thank you.